All right, YouTube, what is going on? Theo Bean here, and today I am giving my first impressions, initial thoughts on ZZZ. Some mixed thoughts here. It's been pretty controversial. People are quitting, people love it, you know. So wanted to chime in and give my opinion on all. Because it is an interesting game. I think it has some potential. But so currently, I am internet level 31. I've probably put somewhere between 20 to 25 hours, if not more than that, maybe 25 to 30 hours into the game. I am currently on chapter 2 interlude. Yes, I am chapter 2 interlude. That's currently where I'm at in the game. So we're just going to be going through, breaking it down category by category. And first thing I'm going to start off with is the combat. Overall, combat has some good things and bad things. A lot of the time, especially early on in the game, combat really is a left-clicking simulator. I've been playing on PC, of course, as well. I am not on console. But you are constantly mashing left click. You occasionally press right click or spacebar, and then eventually you throw in an E or a Q in there as well. That is the majority of the combat, especially early on in the game. That's how it works. You're constantly attacking, doing combos based off your character, things like that. But the main part, you're just hitting click, tick, tick, attack, 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 and then throwing your skill. Then when you get your ult, use that, and then you're either doing dodges or counters. One thing that's not really explored, and I do encourage people to do this, is to go here, go to the VR device, and go through these missions for these other characters, because everybody's kit is actually a little bit deeper than just left clicking. I will say that. As you can see, I have not done all of them. I've done quite a few of them, but you will learn quite a bit about your character, how their skills work, their elements, and how to best. So the game is a little bit more in depth than it appears. Aside from that, the combat is incredibly smooth. When dodging, countering, everything like that, it is crisp. The sound design for the combat is incredible for different attacks, animations, all of that. The visuals and how it feels is probably the most crisp compared to any gacha game there is when it comes to the combat. I think that is safe to say regarding that. Overall, the combat is starting to get better. The first characters you unlock being Ambi. Why am I blanking on him? Oh my god. Billy, as well as Nicole, are pretty straightforward characters. There's nothing really too fancy with them. They do have a little bit more to their kits than just mashing the left click. I think the other characters are a little bit more unique. Like for instance, one thing that's pretty interesting is that Ben changes Kaleida, wherever she is.
You want to test my hammer?
Her ultimate, if you have him in the team, if you use her ultimate without having Ben, it is a different animation, a different effect.
For some hard labor.
So there's unique cohesions between characters in that regard. It's pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what other things we're going to get from that, considering the fact that, you know, all these characters are part of what is considered these factions, right? So the Cunning Hairs are these 4 characters here, and then Bellabog Industries, which again, Kaleida and Ben have cohesion. I'm curious to see how this evolves as the game goes on. This being 1.0, things are pretty small, I would say, as we're getting more and more into the game, right? Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. So there is that, right? I thought that is a pretty interesting concept that, as far as I know, she's the only person I think in the game so far that I've heard of that has that. But that's pretty much initial thought on combat. Story. A story is okay. It has some highs and it has some lows. That being said, the lows are pretty slow. The voice acting for the game is very, very good. I think everybody's great, including somebody like Anby, who's essentially like an android, or I guess a robot. She sounds very robotic in her delivery. but that helps bring her character across. And at one point she makes a joke and you're not sure if she's actually serious or telling a joke or not. Billy kind of follows up on that as well, because Billy is also a robot, but he's like unique and he's very into essentially like this new Eridu's version of like Power Rangers or whatever you want to call them, right? I think they're called Starlight Rangers or Troopers or something like that.
Starlight, it's time to shine.
Yeah, see, he references it there. Starlight Engine, yeah. So
I have 2 guns, so double
the character, the voice acting is incredibly good. I think the characters are all really well done how they're presented. They all feel unique, right? Which is the point of a gacha game. Everybody will gravitate to different characters based on their personality, what they like, blah 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 blah. But with that said, with the voice acting, how good it is, there is times where it feels like the talking is just excessive. There's a ton of yapping going on where characters will literally just not shut the fuck up, and things that just could essentially be wind down. One thing I do love is in this game that there is a skip button, and when you skip, it also gives you a brief review of everything that happens in that cutscene. It is actually a very nice feature. So if you're just trying to go fast and get through the game, you want to get towards the end game content, you can still keep along and know what's happening while just also skipping everything. That is a nice little feature. The cutscenes in the game are actually incredibly good looking. They look very good as well. They are very nice, little refreshing. Even though they're pretty short, they are pretty sick. There is one cutscene that is insanely cool when you unlock a new area for a character that I believe was in one of the closed betas as well. She looks super badass. If you've seen it, I'm pretty sure you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah. One thing I thought was interesting is as we're meeting these different factions, they're kind of introducing new characters, but then they just kind of disappear. I'm not really sure where the story is planning to go. There's essentially this plot point that arrives pretty early on, and you get to a point where it just says like you're not going to know what's going to happen until the time's right, which is essentially just a very weird way to say, well, you have to wait and see. It's just essentially, but there's no real reason. We're just kind of going through the story and meeting different people. We're not really sure what the full end game result is, other than the 2 protags here, Belle and Weiss, their brother and sister running the store, are just essentially running the store and just doing shit on the side with the HDD network, which you learn about through playing the game. I will say the 2 protags are kind of boring. There's nothing really special about them. You just get to play as one of the 2, whichever one you pick. With that said, you can change your loading screen here, so even if you pick Belle or Weiss, if you want to look at the other character, you can. Once you get trust with these characters, you can unlock these, so this will be pretty cool to see as well. I would imagine, I'm curious to see if we get 5 stars, because get this here. Oh, we do have a fight. We have Soldier 11, so that'll be interesting to see these different like menu screens, which I think are actually very well done, along with the UI. I'll talk more about that in a second. Going back to the characters, kind of tying that in with the story here, they're great. Some characters I think are better than others. One thing I don't really like is the I'm just gonna say there's a lot of lolly characters.
Huh?
There's
I'll help you win. Hey, don't look down
there's I wouldn't say Ellen, but there's, I mean, this is 1,
You want to test my
2,
hammer? Did you
3, 4,
Good
5,
day, Proxy.
6. Ambi, I would not say Ambius, but there's 6 right there, and we've already confirmed one of the characters that we're getting in 1.1 is another character that is also essentially like a lolly. I don't like it. Some people do, to each your own, you know. I would prefer more adult looking characters.
Further instructions.
I get there's a certain aesthetic and a certain group they're trying to reach with that. That's down to personal preference, right? I'd rather characters look like Nicole than have them look like Corinne. That's my personal taste. Also, going along with that, some of the NPCs are insanely hot. Like, it is ridiculous how hot some of these NPCs are. Like for instance, this is not the best example,
Looking to relax after a busy day at
but
work?
her tits
You're
are
at the right
insane.
place.
Like they went
Thanks for
crazy with
coming.
some of these
Hope you had a
characters.
great time.
Like why they did these designs for these characters and not for others is where else is it? Here as well. Like just going through like what they did with some of these NPCs is kind of crazy. Like these NPCs are stacked. Bertha and Lila here work for this shop, which is one of the ways that you spend your energy. It is kind of insane like why they put that much effort into side characters. I'm not complaining. I would just wish we got more characters that look like this as the main characters, rather than,
Ready
you
and
know,
waiting.
kids. People look like kids.
I'm sorry.
This, if you love
Awaiting
furries,
further
this is
instructions.
probably going to be a fantastic game for you too. We have 1, 2, 3.
Time for some
That definitely counts as well. 4.
Is it work time? Is food included?
She's like a Oni, I guess that's 5. I don't know if you want to consider that. Whatever. Yeah, there's definitely catered towards a certain group, which is not me. Outside of that, the art style I think is fine, but the character design for a lot of these characters isn't necessarily my forte. Also, one thing that is incredibly fantastic is the bang boos. It is actually, these are, I think, the best things in the game. We got these different bang boos. This is the bang boo banner. There's different types, different aesthetics, and they have different skills based off which, like that. So, these guys are hilarious. They're so adorable. I love them. They are so funny, especially as you get them in combat and you see them fight. It is actually so funny, some of the stuff they do. This guy has a literally, like a tractor drill that he drives into enemies. And all these guys do different stuff as well. These are definitely the best part of the art for this game is guys the bank. They're credible. I love them, and I like how they are at least centered around the game. They're pretty important, and how they are also added in the combat as well is pretty cool. Let's talk through progression. This is an interesting aspect when it comes to this game specifically, because I think for the most part, the game is kind of slow in how you progress. You get these certain areas, which is not unique to this Gacha game, but Gacha games in general, where you just have to keep leveling up your level. Then you unlock the main story. You can keep doing more stuff. Blah 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 blah. That's essentially you get to a point there until you get to Internet level 30. Then you can continue the main story, things like that. So you're essentially doing side quests until then. One thing in regards to the progression I think is very interesting is this is the first game ever where it takes you like over 6 hours to unlock a banner. And that is this Bang Boo banner here. I thought that was so weird. It takes a few hours to actually unlock pulls, maybe somewhere between 1 to 2, depending if you're skipping cuts or not. But you don't get this Bang Boo channel until I think it was, I spent 5 hours the first night it came out. Was after a few hours I unlocked this to essentially pull for these Bang Boos, which are part of your team. You get to pick them. Another thing, randomly, I'll talk more about this, but you can't customize them here. You have to go specifically to the store for do that, which is fucking stupid. Why they did that, I don't know. But I thought that was such a weird premise. It's like, why am I getting this far into the game for that? Again, another thing in regards to the progression is the fact that at one point you'd start to unlock some things to how to use your energy, right? Which is your reloadable resource. Here, which is capped at 240, which is nice. Just like HSR. But you kind of go through this, and as you keep playing, you unlock all these other things that you can spend your energy on. And if you're like me and you're using it, well, now you don't have enough energy for these other resources. This is by far the most tapped resource in the game. I just hit 30, which means I can increase my cap to 40. I have these characters at 40, and I don't have enough energy to max out their skills. Her skills are by far the highest. I don't also have enough to get these materials which are needed in order to upgrade their passive skills. I don't have enough energy to get these discs, which is essentially relics or talismans. And I also don't have enough to fully upgrade my W engine, which is your equivalent of a weapon. So all these resources and stuff that you need, right? I do not have enough of it. It is very resource dependent game, so that does not feeling good. Thankfully you do get a free plus 60 energy every single day, which is located over at the coffee shop, which is nice that you could essentially drink coffee. You get 60 energy, which will give you a buff towards certain drops. Only problem is these change every single day, and if you don't get a buff or what you want, then too fucking bad. I'm assuming these are locked specifically to certain days. So on Monday, which is the day I'm filming this, we're getting these types of buffs for these resources. But if you specifically need a certain type of thing, then that's too bad.
Whenever you feel lost, you can always come back here for a cup of coffee.
Another thing. So I thought the game was just limited to 6th Street here, which it is not. I was just in that other area as you saw, which is called the Lumina Square. Let's go here. This finally unlocks at internet level 30. So that takes around 20 hours or so, depending on how much you're skipping to get to this area. And when you finally get here, which I don't understand, is coming back over here, you get the exact same shit that you have on 6th Street. Like, this feels kind of pointless. There's very few differences. So this is Lumina Square. This is 6th Street. It's practically the same shit. There's no gadget store, no arcade, no music store, no remodeling shop. But everything else is still there. Agent of Barrel is the only new thing here, I'm pretty sure. That's the difference. Nope, not even. That's still the same. So there's a couple more things on 6th Street. But even though this area is way bigger, unless there's more stuff I haven't unlocked, that's it. So why? I don't know. Because this area is actually cool to explore. It feels like you're downtown. It looks great. The environments are fantastic, but it feels like there's really nothing to do when you're exploring through them. Next, let's get into Gacha. In my opinion, out of the 3 hoyoverse games that I've played, those being Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and now Zenless Zone Zero, I've had the worst luck when it comes to the gacha here by far compared to any of those games. One thing that I strongly dislike is it feels like there is not a dupe canceller, or as I should say, Honkai Star Rail has a system where if you pull for something, you're more likely to get something that you have not gotten before than you are to get dupes. That is not the case in Zenless Zone Zero. The amount of dupes I have gotten in this game is insane. So for instance, I rolled for Ellen. I did not get her. Just to show you here. So we're going to go to our search history. So I got her on going. So here's what happened. And I hate this, is annoying to have to do. This is so slow counting. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. On my 40th pull, or 39th, I got Soldier 11. The problem was,
Ready and waiting.
I already had Soldier 11. I got a Soldier 11 dupe, which I had from the standard banner. I actually got a dupe rather than getting a new character, which feels fucking terrible. As you're going to see here, search history, we put 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, I did get an early 5-star after I got my first pity, which was a W engine for a class that I don't have. I don't have an anomaly character built. And then there's my Soldier 11, which I think I got in somewhere around 40 pulls, which was the first banner. And then I have since done, what is that, 70 pulls since. And that was, again, 50 pulls after I got that W engine. So I've essentially gotten 2 dupes of a character and an engine, W engine, that I can't use. That feels terrible. That was part of the reason that I was actually thinking of quitting this game myself, because I was like, this is bullshit. I have one character I can truly build and just max everything into 5-star, and then I'm building 4-stars then. And I, of course, when it came to Ellen, right, as you saw, my dupe of Agent 11, which means I lost at 50-50, that also feels fucking terrible. I have won probably 70-80% of my 50-50s on HSR. I've had insane luck. That has not been the case for this game. Granted, I understand all that I just said is specifically for me, and I've just had bad luck. That has nothing to do with Gacha. I think the best part about the Gacha is this, is you actually can see your progress on your pulls. Why it took this long to get this, I don't know. But is it great? I wish HSR and Genshin would have this, as well as Fuwa adding something like this would be great. I love this. So seeing this, you're like, okay, that's how many pulls I'm in. So in this banner 0, like, okay, well, that means I need this many more. In that case, right, I don't have to go back just like everybody else you've seen, like I just did. You're constantly sitting here counting how many pulls you are into the banner. So you're trying to figure out how close you are to pity. Boom, it tells you right there. That is a great feature. I love it. Another thing, and I have not seen anybody talk about this, is the fact that we do not get a free 5-star with this game. You're probably talking about, well, this isn't Wuthering Waves. You know, most Gacha games don't just give out a free 5-star. What I mean is, in other Gacha games, such as like HSR or Genshin, you get a free 5-star as your playable character. In this game, our playable character doesn't do fucking anything. They're just part of the story, and they control Bangbu. They don't commit to combat or anything like that at all. So we don't get a free character that we could just build for free. That does not exist. And we don't get anything like that in the game at all. I think that is also really damn dumb and stupid. We should have a free character that gets stronger, is unique to the story. How these guys are unique to the story, I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out with time. But not having a free 5-star, even if that 5-star in some games is not the best, having that character still feels good. It's another character you can build around based off of what you do or don't have on your account. So not having that does not feel good. Let's talk about the music. The music is probably one of the best parts of the game completely. The music is insanely good. Some of the battles themes are so sick. It is pretty dope. There's a bunch of different songs based off the different zones. So as you're exploring, doing different types of combat in different areas, those will change. Even though it seems like earlier on there's only one type of zone, you get tired of seeing the areas over and over. Trust me, just keep playing. You will unlock new areas in places that you fight in. The music was great. I love it. Even the areas for these, even the music, sorry, for these areas that we're in now, I think are good. They match the themes very well. This is something hoyoverse has always done incredibly, incredibly well, is the music. What else? Again, also along to go with the music, let's say this is the UI. I think the UI is very nice. It's very easy to interact with. I know people have been debating like, oh, blah, da, 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 da. It's pretty straightforward. Granted, there is a lot of things that go from menus into smaller menus. My only complaint, again, which I will say, is the fact that Bangboos, I can't upgrade them or use them or look at them unless I go, I think this is fucking stupid. If I need to upgrade them or do anything like that,
You need anything modded?
I have to come
You know
here
where to find me.
in order to upgrade them or increase their core update, which is like their constellations or whatever. And you can see all the characters that you've gotten, these A's and then their S's. That why they are pivotal and you get to select them and everything like that for the story, but you can't actually do anything until you go to one specific place. That needs to be changed. Please, hoyoverse, Zenless Zone Zero team, please fix that. It is terrible design. Verdict. When I was first playing this game and I was getting through, I was pretty much ready to quit, partially due to bad luck, repetitiveness. It can be a bit repetitive as you go through. Constantly having to wait for energy does not feel good. But something changed. When I hit Internet level 30, you unlock a quest and you get to play as a new character. That character is you want, where is she? She's not on here, but Yuan is the next limited character coming out for the game. And holy shit, after playing her, my opinion on everything changed. I'm not even kidding. Her mobility is insane. The way she jumps and dashes around. Her kit is so cool. She's hot as shit. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I never got Ellen Joe. I'm waiting for this character. So I am of course 40 out and now I'm saving for this character because she is by far the most fun character I've played in this game out of everybody. And I've at least sampled, I think, every single character in the game that there is. So that has been very nice. With that said, so there is hope. I am going to be playing through all of 1.0, probably going to see 1.1 through, and then kind of go from there. As of right now, the game is pretty solid. It has a good foundation. It needs some help, though. I'm curious to see what the events are going to be like, how those are going to be. So those are one of the things I want to wait on before I give a final verdict. I want to finish the 1.0 story, see where that goes, and see how much answers we get. But as of right now, I still do ultimately prefer spending more time in HSR or Wuwa. Wuwa kind of scratches the itch I want more for combat at the time. As well as HSR, I think is just the most complete gacha game there is. I've been playing it for over a year now. I still love it as much as I do, even though that has its own issues with power creep and things. That's something for a completely different video. Overall, that is my feelings though. If I had to give it a rating right now, I say it's a solid 6.5. The combat is incredibly crisp. Music, the design of everything as well, the art direction regarding characters, the need for resources, how dependent this game is, does not feel good. My shitty gacha luck, which is again my problem, nobody else's, is unfortunate. But something like that will make you not want to play. I did do a reroll account as well. I'll also add this. I did a reroll account. I also got Soldier 11. This game fucking wants me to play Soldier 11. So then again, right, she is my most utilized character. Obviously put some effort into her by far the most. I'd say she's a good character. I call her Fire Ambi. And I do like Ambi too. Ambi's a pretty good character. But that's my opinion. That's how I feel about everything. Overall, good quality base. I would like to see some improvements. I'm curious to see what we get from Hoyoverse, because it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Zenless Zone Zero, considering these are 3 separate teams that work on Genshin, HSR, and ZZD. How responsive how they'll be is going to be interesting, considering it feels like Genshin's has been very quiet. They really haven't done much. Meanwhile, HSR has been getting a ton of support. The quality of life improvements and improvements to that game continue to happen. It just gets better and better. So I'm curious to see where this game stands among those and what Hoyo's going to do for it. Ultimately, 6.5 out of 10. I'm going to be pulling for Zhu Yuan. She's guaranteed for me essentially at this point as I keep playing. So I'm gonna build her. She's so much fun, and I'm pretty much going to main her when she comes out. I recommend everybody, if you can, play her if you can. She's actually insane. The way she just flies around the stage is, I was in complete shock. I did not think a range character was going to be able to do that. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I have some more videos coming out. I'm going to be doing a 1.1 Wuwa review, so I'm finishing that up. I've been playing Elden Ring, this, Wuwa, Final Fantasy 14 7.0. So that's why videos have not been coming out. I've been trying to just get through shit. So that's going to be it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, though. If you can like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be coming out with more content. I'll be talking about Zhu Yuan when she comes out. So until next time, peace and deuces. See ya.